So I'm just back from an amazing, extraordinary, beautiful trip to Brazil, and it's that I'm going to be talking about. And naive gringo that I am, here are 5 observations that I'm going to try and group things around. First of all, Brazil is absolutely huge. Secondly, it's got an extraordinary rich history. Thirdly, they're making a determined comeback from what could be the world's first case of bioterrorism. Fourthly, they've got depth of flavours and complexities and flavours like you've never had before. And then finally, we all know about the beautiful game and Brazil's role in that, but Brazil itself is just amazingly beautiful, and it's amazing what experiences you can have out there. So let's just go through those one at a time. First of all, let's take how big Brazil is. Let's just put this in context. The Brazilian chocolate market is bigger than the UK's. It's just huge. And just in terms of land mass, you can fit all of the EU plus the UK almost twice over into Brazil. And forget the US, the contiguous US, i.e. the US excluding Alaska and Hawaii, i.e. just the contiguous bit of the US, is smaller than Brazil. So in terms of size, this is a huge country. Next thing, the history of Brazil is just amazingly rich and complicated. Where cacao starts, theobroma cacao is in the Amazonian basin, which includes Brazil. So Ecuador may well still be able to claim that it's the first place that we know about people consuming theobromine as originally a drink, a beer, and then as the cocoa drink. But Brazil rapidly catches up, and it's had it all the time. But what actually happens is that it's not until the 18th century when a Frenchman brings it in from Pará to Ilhéus, and that's what really kicks it all off. And then just to combine with this history, Ilhéus is basically the New York of its era. Brazil is the #1 exporting country of cacao for much of the 19th and much of the 20th century, early stages. And then in the late 20th century, it gets almost destroyed by a disease, witch's broom, which people now believe is actually the first example of bioterrorism. But what's amazing is that over the last 20 to 30 years, Brazilian farmers like Raul Tavares, like Rogério Camé, like Juliana too, have all been working incredibly hard to develop new crossbreeds, to develop new techniques, to bring back an industry which was literally cut from, in many cases, these farms were growing 400 tons, they went down to below 20 tons. So they really, really were destroyed, but they're coming back. And what's extraordinary is the flavours you get from Brazil. So Brazilian cacao actually has its own cocoa flavour wheel. We're talking more about this later, but it's basically, you've got to taste some of the fruits out there, like the cupuaçu, jabuticaba, all those amazing fruits. And when you do, Rogério's, for example, amazing bars. And I'll just show you a couple now. So Rogério's amazing bars, like this Bonanca, which is basically a reference to a specific varietal that he's made, and then Cotango, which is similar to a sort of white bean known elsewhere as a sort of pura, but the flavours here are extraordinary. You'll be able to get them immediately, but you won't necessarily be able to articulate them because unless you've had Brazilian fruit, it's really difficult to do that. But they are extraordinarily complex and wonderfully flavourful, and we really look forward to showing you more of those too. Then the last thing is, Brazil is just so beautiful. So we all know about Copacabana, we all know about the jungles, we all know about the beautiful game football. But what's really extraordinary is the experiences that these guys put on. So the experiences I have with Juliana, the experiences we have with Raul, the experiences I have with Rogério, and they've actually already got chocolate tourism out there. So if you're interested, you've got any holidays planned, or if you haven't got any holidays planned, let me try and persuade you to go to Brazil and just have the time of your life. Thank you very much.